Hello there. Welcome to another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. As promised last week, the Justice Minister is back with us on issues. He provides some timely answers on the state of the nation's courts. And in true Olympic style, we trace Jamaica's dominance in track and field. We also have a little treat for you.
How we want justice! In Skitaland, we want justice!
But you have to stick around to see it all. All that and so much more right after these messages.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is committed to ensuring that every Jamaican child has the best learning environment to thrive and needs your cooperation to make the education system work successfully.
What are the school's voluntary contributions for?
Co-curricular and sports activities and school development.
What amount are parents to contribute?
Your contributions are voluntary and the amount depends on the type of programs being offered by the school.
If my child is being denied access to school, can I complain to the ministry?
Yes. You can call or visit any of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information's 6 regional offices or send an email to complaints@moey.gov.jm.
What support is there for PATH students?
PATH students are not expected to make contributions and are to be provided with 5 days free lunch as of this year.
Parents and guardians, do continue to make your voluntary financial contributions to your children's school. The institutions need your assistance for their school development and sporting activities. Remember, every child can learn. Every child must learn.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck is aiming to ensure that no Jamaican is denied justice because of delays in the system. In today's Issues and Answers, he speaks candidly on plans to improve the court system to create a just society for all.
Welcome to another edition of Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Minister of Justice, Honorable Delroy Chuck, is back with us. There are so many issues to talk about in this area that we had to have the Minister again. We thank you for your company. Minister, good to have you back. Thanks for being with us. So we didn't exhaust that issue we spoke about last week, the initiatives to clear up the backlog in the courts. And you had mentioned a number of them.
Well, there are huge backlogs. In fact, amazingly, in the Court of Appeal, we have a serious backlogs growing almost daily. And the reason for this is that even though in 2008, provision was made to have 12 Court of Appeal judges, we still only have 7. And the reason for that is that there's no space to put them. Fortunately, and I'm hoping that this is the definitive date, by the end of August, we're going to get the Accountant General moving out of the public buildings so that within a matter of months, it can't be more than months, we will be able to renovate the area where the Accountant General is now so that we will have enough court space to appoint at least the additional Court of Appeal judges.
Good news.
If that happens, then we can have at least 3 courts sitting each week. We will have the backlog being dramatically reduced so that in the Court of Appeal there should be no backlog. At the moment, the judges are overworking. And that is the same in the Supreme Court. We have provision for 40 judges. We have only appointed 32. We can't appoint the remaining 8 judges because there's no room. And even though we have extended over what we call Supreme Court North, which is the old NCB building, we don't want judges to share chambers. So we still only have 32 chambers. We need another 8 or more chambers. And we hope in the old Supreme Court building, that is the one that is on King Street, the main, to remove where the registry was at the moment and other areas over to Supreme Court North and put in additional, not only courts, but also additional rooms for judges' chambers, so that the additional judges will be employed in order to make sure that more cases can be tried. But I have now before Cabinet a submission to have a change in the Constitution so that retired judges could be utilized and as needed basis. We're not going to increase the age of retirement from 70 to 75 or 80. No. What we are going to say is an addition to the Constitution that would say that retired judges could be brought on a periodic basis for weeks or months, as they know are called upon in other jurisdictions. For instance, many of our retired judges are now sitting in the Cayman Islands, the Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Belize. And we're saying, here are some of our best judges who have retired, giving their service to these other jurisdictions. Why can't we use them here? So I would like to change the Constitution, adjust the amend it a little bit, so that we can utilize these retired judges to assist us, not only in clearing the backlog, but for the future, in ensuring that cases are tried in a timely manner.
And that's before the Cabinet now?
It is now the submission I've prepared, and it is now before Cabinet. We haven't had it. I have to tell you, there's a huge backlog of matters before Cabinet. So it is.
Well, you'll be pushing for this.
I will be pushing for that. It is in the conveyor belt. Now, in the parish courts, formerly resident magistrates courts, we only have 55 parish judges. We have a complement of 70. We need urgently to employ 15 more parish judges so that each of the parish can get an additional parish judge. Here again, it's a question of accommodation. But we have to find some way of employing them or appointing them and then using them in manners such as night court or dispute resolution or in plea bargaining, as we discussed last week, you know, and dispute resolution, so that the sort of backlog in the courts will be addressed. But a very interesting development, Ian, is that we are going to equip all the courts, especially the main parish courts and all the Supreme Courts, with technology, what we call audiovisual technology, so that everything that is said and done in the courts will be recorded. So that during a trial, a case is being heard in the parish courts and certainly in the Supreme Court, you don't have the judge taking will not need the judge to be taking longhand any longer. Whatever is recorded, the technology is such that immediately it can be transcribed into written print, so that at the end of the day, the transcript will be ready. So that cases can now will move more easily and flow, so that at the end of the trial, the transcript will be ready, and it can easily, if there's an appeal, it can be sent to the Court of Appeal. If in fact the judge needs time to revise and look at the transcript, it can be printed. Defense counsel will have a copy. Prosecutor will have a copy, as the case may be, or just have it on a hard disk. And what is more, we hope it can in fact be put on the internet, so that, you know, if the Chief Justice wants to watch what is happening in the parish court, he or she can look and see what is happening in the parish court.
Yeah.
It can be streamed. So that development will ensure that cases can move on a more timely basis.
Yes.
There are other factors.
Minister has so much information, several initiatives being worked on to ensure that the justice system becomes more efficient. We take a break, but we'll be right back.
Has a relative died without leaving a will and there's property or cash in his or her name? The Administrator General's Department can fairly distribute the wealth among loved ones.
We administer estates of deceased persons who die without leaving a will and leaving children under 18 years old.
Contact the AGD. They're located at the Office Center building downtown Kingston. Call them at 922-183023, 922-070025, or at 618-1542.
Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck with us on Issues and Answers. Yes, Minister, you are continuing.
Well, even with all these innovations and all these appointments and all these improvements to be made, we need even right now to make sure that the cases move and that files are completed. We have a major problem in that far too many police officers feel that once they've charged a man and take him to court, then that's the end of his work, or his work, the major part of his work has been done. That is not, that investigating officer and the police officers and the witnesses must cooperate to make sure that the file is completed, hopefully within weeks, certainly not longer than 3 months. But what is happening now, Ian, is that far too many cases, the files are not completed, they drag on for months, they drag on for years. And after a year or 2 years, and the parish judge or the judge says, when is this file going to be completed? And no one can answer, no one can give the judge a definitive date. What is the judge to do when the accused man or the accused man's counsel asks for bail? When you don't know when this file is going to be completed, that man is still innocent until proven guilty. In all sincerity, he might well be guilty and should not be out on the street. But in a situation where the file is not completed, what is the parish judge or the judge to do when an appeal for bail is made? So I have said, and we have said to the Commissioner of Police, we have met at National Council on Justice. One of the problems is that the files are not completed because the forensic lab, the certificates from the forensic labs have not been produced. When I checked, the forensic lab has over 1,000 certificates there. The police officers have not picked them up. And in many cases, the police officer is saying to the court, we are still awaiting the certificate. When Dr. Mowat at the forensic lab said to us at the National Council on Justice meeting, there are far too many up there and we keep asking the police officers to come for them. Yeah. So you have at one time over 1,000. So that a lot of times when you hear that the file is not completed because you have not got the ballistic reports or the forensic report, it is up there awaiting collection. Now what the commissioner has agreed to do is to have a liaison officer in the courts so that when the court hears that the forensic certificate is not ready, then they can check with the forensic lab to get the investigating officer to collect it and take it to court so the file can be completed. No, I do admit that sometimes the forensic lab has not really produced the certificate because for one reason or another the forensic lab is under pressure, it is under resourced, and it needs some material.
Anything going to be done about that?
Yes, in fact, only recently I pleaded with Cabinet. We want to give national security some more resources? Yes. But please make some of it go to the forensic lab, because if you do, then it would ease the burden on the court. So basically, I'm really calling on the stakeholders in the system, not only the judge, because everybody has a little blame. So the judge must really put his or her foot down as the leader in the court to say, I need this file completed, saying to the investigating officer, I need this case to be tried, especially when it passes 12 months. I mean, no accused person should be going back and forth. And by the way, it's not only the accused person, the victims and the witnesses and the families of the victim, they come to court regularly trying to find out what is happening to this case. And when it goes on for longer than 12 months, the witnesses start to disappear. And after 2 years, now you can't find the witnesses. After 3 years, no witness.
The case collapses.
Absolutely. So unless a case is tried in a timely manner, then everything starts to fall apart. And my view is that unless cases are tried expeditiously, it sends the wrong signal. When they are delayed for too long, believe me, and I've said it, and I know people don't like me saying it, but delay causes further corruption and crime. When you have too many delays in the system, anywhere, it creates the atmosphere and the opportunity for corruption and even more criminality. Because what is happening, you see, Ian, when people are not getting justice in where they should, that is in the courts, they go take it up on their own hands. And they find ways of getting around the system. And that is not correct. So we in the justice system, all the stakeholders, including the minister and the Ministry of Justice, must step up to the plate and make sure that justice is delivered in a timely manner.
We'll hold you to that, Minister. Minister of Justice, Honorable Delroy Chuck, talking to us about significant initiatives under his ministry. Next week I'll be back. Until then, Ian Boyne wishing you a pleasant day.
We have championed e-learning in Jamaica, provided state-of-the-art technology in over 200 educational institutions, developed materials for CSEC, piloted the Tablets in Schools project in 38 schools, including infant and primary, and trained thousands of teachers in technology integration. We are e-Learning Jamaica Company Limited, ELJAM, an agency of the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology. Visit our website, www.elearnja.org.
Today, our track and field stars kick off the most anticipated area of our Olympics 2016 campaign. Our athletic prowess has long been known to the world, with this little island nation making its mark as far back as 1948. So, as we enjoy this generation's prowess on the tracks, let's trace the history to how we got here as a nation.
The year was 1948. Having formed the Jamaica Olympic Association nearly a decade earlier, the way was now clear for this tiny yet pristine isle of wood and water to participate in its first ever Olympic Games in London. In that first outing, Arthur Wint, aka the Gentle Giant, clocked 46.2 seconds to win the 400-meter event ahead of his teammate Herb McKinley.
McKinley, second from the top, leaves the mark quickly. After 200 meters, he leads Arthur Wint, who is beside him, by 4 yards. Arthur Wint first, Herb McKinley second.
And the medal streak continued at the Helsinki Games in 1952. George Roden, gold medal winner in the 400-meter event. Herb McKinley, silver in the 400 and 100 meters. And Arthur Wint, silver medalist over 800 meters. This scintillating trio, along with Leslie Lang, joined forces to move the baton in the 4x400 meter relay, winning in a record-breaking time of 3 minutes and 39 seconds.
He must make up the distance against Charlie Moore. Herb McKinley has made up the 15 meters. Jamaica first, United States second.
The Union Jack is lowered and the new flag of Jamaica raised.
And with independence came a palpable sense of expectation for Jamaica in the track and field arena. In 1962, the National Stadium was built for that year's staging of the Central American and Caribbean Games. Achievements on the track inspired policymakers to seek ways to spread that success to other areas of society.
In a nutshell, the Institute of Sports in 1978 was formed to develop sports at the grassroots level, both financially, as well as promote and unearth the talent in the communities. Communities may mean, at the grassroots level, primary schools.
Part of that mandate involved identifying the sports gene in the young prodigies from an early age and harnessing that raw talent. The mission to mold that young talent went a step further in 1981 when InSport staged the first primary school championships.
We have this very competitive championships that takes place here at the stadium, and from there the youngsters are recruited into high schools, and we are seeing the best of what we have produced at that level.
And as its premier track and field competition blossomed, a number of corporate sponsors came on board to support that event. Today, that support is phenomenal, valued in the millions of dollars. The efforts of the Institute of Sports have been supported by the Intersecondary Schools Sports Association, ISA, which stages the annual Boys and Girls Championships. What began with the 6 schools competing in 1910 for a championship cup is now a well-organized track and field meet, which has become a breeding ground for the best athletic talent anywhere in the world. As in sport and champs developed, so too did Jamaica's athletic pool at the Olympics in the 1960s and 70s. In 1968, Lennox Miller took silver in the 100 meters. He later won bronze in the 1972 Games. And at the 1976 Montreal Olympics, Donald Quarry won a silver medal in the 100 meters. But that was only the first of two.
On July 26, 1976, at the 21st Olympic Games in Montreal, Donald Quarry won the 200-meter sprint in a time of 20.3 seconds.
Jamaica's exploits in track and field have also been propelled by another institution, the G.C. Foster College. It began as a vision of the late Michael Manley and kindred spirits like Hugh Small, Howard Aries and Teddy McCook becoming a reality in 1980. The college was named after Gerald Claude Foster, who was a pioneer in coaching.
When it was established, it was really to teach physical education. That was the main thing, and sports.
Today, teachers of physical education and coaches for various sporting disciplines get their formal training at G.C. Foster, building the coaching capacity of the country, now regarded as having some of the best coaches in the world. Names like Donald Quarry, Merlene Ottey, Winthrop Graham, Bertrand Cameron, and even David Weller, who got an Olympic bronze medal in cycling, dominated sporting headlines in the 1980s. Grace Jackson also rose to prominence after winning a silver medal in the 200-meter event in the 1988 Seoul Olympics. And all the while, G.C. Foster College was improving its programs and offerings, contributing to the expansion of technical capacity in sports.
In the 90s, we had a slight shift, and in the latter part, we started to offer a degree in physical education, and we are introducing a sports fitness program. These are persons who work in the service industry, for example, gyms, the hotel industry.
Jamaica's glory days at the Olympics continued into the 1990s. Juliet Cuthbert and Merlene Ottey gained the silver and bronze medals respectively in the women's 200-meter event.
She was sprinter personified. She was absolutely a pleasure to watch.
And Winthrop Graham became the first Jamaican to win a medal in the hurdles event, grabbing silver in 1996. And the hurdles delivered another first for Jamaica in the 1996 Atlanta Games.
Dion Hemmings wins the gold medal in a new Olympic record. The first Jamaican woman to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games. You know that I'm a winner. Got to believe in it.
Her teammate James Beckford also made the history books that year, jumping his way to a silver medal, the country's first and only medal in the long jump. The 21st century brought a new development in track and field, private track clubs.
The MVP Track and Field Club was formed at the end of 1999, going into the year 2000. Well, there are two major roles. One, they're an incubator for up-and-coming talent who are transitioning from high school to university and the senior level. So there needs to be someone who can facilitate that transition. We have now created the reality that some Jamaicans will do well in the States at a university there, but many Jamaicans can also do very well as athletes here in Jamaica.
The Racers Track Club, which also emerged in the last decade, has become a prominent track club in Jamaica, producing sprint sensations like Usain Bolt and Johan Blake. Athletes with no club affiliation have also done extremely well. Jamaica's sprint dominance was shown to the world at the 2008 Beijing Olympics.
And Fraser of Jamaica running away from the field to win it in 10, 7, 8.
Oh, this is a big win by Malay Walker, 52.64.
Bolt sprinting ahead and setting a world record.
Mahonica Campbell-Brown will take gold once again. That's a tremendous run. Asafa Powell on anchor for Jamaica. Jamaica, gold, 37.10, world record!
But Jamaica's athletic prowess is not only dominant at the Olympic level. The country continues to prove its mettle at other track meets such as the IAAF Diamond League, the Commonwealth Games, Pan American Games, the Penn Relays, and the World Championships. The end result of efforts at various levels and across institutions.
Shelley and Fraser actually ran at primary schools champs right here at the National Stadium.
A lot of people are not aware of it, but Beijing and Berlin were not by accident.
That we've shown that Jamaican coaches and Jamaican managers can make Jamaican athletes the best athletes in the world right here in Jamaica.
Other organizations have provided direction and support. Policymakers have long recognized the link between sports and national development. The revised Green Paper on the National Sports Policy is being reviewed and is intended to capitalize on Jamaica's achievements and explore the opportunities in sports. All of this to help develop the economy and strengthen communities.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito. A message from the Ministry of Health.
If you're still planning to catch the Rio Games live and in person, then 1, I am jealous, and 2, do remember your yellow fever vaccine. It's a requirement for travel to any country that is affected by yellow fever. The Ministry of Health advises that the vaccine should be administered at least 10 days prior to travel. It can be accessed at specific health facilities on various days. If you're in the corporate area, visit the Slipen Road Comprehensive Health Center on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also get the vaccine at the Montego Bay Type 5 Health Center in St. James every Monday, Wednesday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The cost is $1,500 per vaccine. Yellow fever is an acute illness transmitted by the bite of infected mosquitoes such as the Aedes aegypti, the same vector that transmits the chikungunya, dengue and Zika viruses. Let's keep healthy.
Am I on the air? Yes. Why they kill me, brother? Me want justice. Yes, sir. I am here today to represent the local chapter of the Culcidae species, better known as the mosquito, or skitter for the whole of we. Them not stop fag we, slap we, all about destroy for we too. Them all come claim say, how we are carry the whole of the disease, them for stick the whole of no. But you no look for me. I don't look for my body. Me look like me have space for me to carry disease for sick the whole of no. Them say we chick feed them, we sick feed them, we yellow fever them. But sir, that they sound like a something what Jamaican mosquito would do. Let me tell you how it go. You have one Tapanaris breed of mosquito who flying from foreign. I be a black and white socks them just up in every day. Then them are hiding out on flower spot, in on drama water, in any uncovered water source. Launch them attack by you. Cover up your hand, cover up your foot. That's why they now use water. Hey, no give them no space for catch. Clean up on no gully, clean up on no drain. That's why no garbage properly. Eradicate the breed there. And we want justice in a skitterland. We want justice. Ning. We want justice. Ning.
Here's a positive thought for you. Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see a shadow. We've come to the end of Jamaica Magazine for this Sunday. Thanks for spending time with us. Remember to keep up to date with the latest government information. Join us online at jis.gov.jm or watch our programs on our YouTube channel. Be sure to check out our other social media platforms. On behalf of all of us here at the JIS, I am Adrian Atkinson. Happy Sunday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.